Hey guys, so today I wanted to address the sneaky problem of us thinking we know what enlightenment looks like. And this is another, you think you know, but do you really? And it's a problem that keeps sneaking up on us again and again. And so we constantly fragment ourselves, and we fragment ourselves into the character on the path, which is partly our reality. It's just part of the whole. And so that's what we're talking about, and that's what we're feeling a lot. And so we're on the hero's journey, or whatever you want to call it. We're on the path, and so there's a path taking us, there's an us, and there's a somewhere. And we think we know what that somewhere is going to look like. So in actuality, we think we know the path ahead. Oh, there's going to be a lake over here, and there's going to be a cliff over here. But you don't know. And a lot of the problem is that most of us came into this because we were such personal development junkies and went so far down the road of personal development that we started understanding these paradoxical truths and understanding that the success we were seeking wasn't truly, there was something underneath that, something underlying that we really wanted, something, there was a higher purpose, there was a greater goal under that. And so enlightenment is that goal. And the beautiful thing is that we can point to it, but what we point to is never going to be it. And so the further I go down this, the further I realize that the insights seem so simple, and that's why I overlooked them. And that it's so very much like a Harry Potter book. I don't know if you've ever read Harry Potter. He overlooks things, and kind of things come into his awareness during the book. But you as the reader and him as the character never really think anything of it. In the end of the book, it's stunningly revealed how everything was under his nose the whole time, and everything just like interconnected amazingly. And that's what this starts to look like. You actually physically manifest God. And it's not what you think. It can seem incredibly silly. And it can seem incredibly crazy. And you have to understand that when you start to feel crazy, this is all entirely about self-love and self-acceptance. And when you start to feel crazy, that is exactly a fear that the not knowing will bring up. But truly, there's amazing love unfolding, and that's all it is. And it seems to the separate self like the void. It's not. It's so perfect, abundant love that it can't even be spoken about. And so it seems that the type of people are so, who go for enlightenment, like I said, have gone down the road of personal development so long, and that they really, really know how to strive for things. And that's the tricky thing, is to let go of that striving and let go of that incredibly keen judgment that you worked so hard to develop with personal development and know what you wanted. And so I had this realization recently. Sometimes I feel like I shouldn't swear in my videos, but whatever, more self-judgment. That what I call fuckery is God works in mysterious ways. So it seems like you're totally wasting time, like I've had insights from 80s videos. Come to think of it, I've always loved 80s music, and I have I make connections between things that don't really make sense. And it's up to me to see the connection, be like, oh. And then when it stops, when the mind is like, that's not what I thought it would be, just to stop that train of thought and just be. And that's where the meditation comes in and is so important. But there's nothing, spirituality is merging with your real life here. And so take a minute to stop and consider the ramifications of that. You are not keeping this in a separate box anymore from your real life. Anything that shows up into your awareness can be a pointer or an invitation to become aware of something that you want to know. And as you ask for things, as you want things, and as you start to accept things and you start to see the connections between things, it can become like it feels like you're a character lost in a story. And I was thinking about how much I loved Calvin and Hobbes. It's a cartoon strip. I don't know if you've ever read it, but Google it really quick and look at it. There's a lot of like really deep philosophical things in there, and it's also very funny. And I was thinking about how it seems, especially when I journal things out, it seems as if there's a character, there's a Mandy or an ego, who is very selfish and egoic, and then there's a higher side of her. And yet, if you took away either one of them, the story wouldn't be anymore, and it wouldn't be interesting at all. And so your personality, and a lot of us, I was a huge Eckhart Tolle fan, and so he has this it seems to the onlooker, this is not the actuality of the situation, but it seems to the onlooker, or the onlooker can easily make this projection that he really doesn't have much of a personality, that he's just this peaceful person. But you have no idea how deep somebody could have gone, how deeply enlightened somebody could be, how deeply they went down the rabbit hole and still have quite a personality. Because personality it's a part of form that is not. And so some of the things that you expect to see dissolve become stronger. Some of the internal, there's a lot of talk right now on social media and YouTube about having an inner voice or an inner eye. Sometimes that inner dialogue gets louder. The only thing that changes is feeling. But however that presents or looks or sounds or anything, all bets are off. Anything could happen. It sounds terrifying. It sounds terrifying to the EgoMind, but in actuality, it feels like the most inspiring, profound, that your life has just turned into exactly everything you dreamed. And if you were like me, like a child who loved reading novels and losing herself in a novel, it feels like you are the center of a mystery unfolding. And of course, there is no center and there's no one to own it. It feels like your life, like you start to understand that there's greater intelligence behind it, that there's an author who has desires for you as a character that you're able to tap into for the first time ever because you're not so afraid of them anymore. And some of the things I found, I've done a lot of shadow work has bubbled up recently. And things I thought I could just put away in the past and not think about anymore. as I've been brave enough to dig them up, I've found that I shamed myself for just being a really courageous person and showing love. And so self-judgment comes out the strongest, and the shame comes out the strongest when I was brave enough to be who I truly was. And it was this sort of veiled, my mind kind of veiled it. You have no good reason not to completely love and accept yourself. You are your own chosen one. You are so greatly loved. There is an author that is the true you who loves you as their main character who they dreamed up, like a child, like a part of them. And you are all of those things and all of those characters, and everything in your surrounding, you are everything put together. And the path varies for each individual person as much as all the plot lines of every single book that could ever be written in the world. And yours is just a completely new, fresh one to add to all of that. I hope this was helpful for you guys. Thanks for watching. Bye.